In a world where the spotlight shines bright, the battles fought behind the scenes often go unnoticed. But sometimes, it only takes one moment to reveal the truth, a truth that could shake the very foundation of public perception. Sam Asghari, Britney Spears' husband, has recently made waves in the media, slamming Kevin Federline, Britney's ex-husband, with a fierce defense of her legacy. Why now? What sparked this passionate outburst? And more importantly, what does this say about the ongoing struggle for Britney's freedom and reputation? As Sam stepped into the public eye with this intense response, it became clear that this was more than just a celebrity feud. It was a statement, one that highlighted the toxic dynamics surrounding Britney's past relationships and the ongoing battle to reclaim her narrative. But this wasn't just about a personal vendetta. No, this was about defending a woman who, for too long, had been manipulated, silenced, and misrepresented. Britney Spears, the iconic pop star who once ruled the charts, has had her life dissected by the media, her every move scrutinized, and her personal struggles laid bare for the world to see. Through all of this, her legacy has been called into question. As Sam Asghari, a man who married Britney in 2022, began speaking out, it became evident that he wasn't just protecting his wife. He was calling out the hypocrisy and injustice that has followed Britney for decades. The words he chose were loaded with emotion and conviction. His message wasn't just about setting the record straight. It was a plea for respect, for recognition of the woman who had worked tirelessly to build a career, to inspire millions, and to find her own voice amidst years of turmoil. It all started when Kevin Federline, the father of Britney's two sons, made some controversial comments in an interview, which reignited the public's curiosity about the Spears-Federline marriage. Federline's words were met with mixed reactions, but it was Sam Asghari's response that stood out, capturing the attention of fans and critics alike. Sam didn't hold back. His anger wasn't just directed at Kevin, but at the entire system that allowed Britney's suffering to continue for so long. He knew this wasn't just about one individual. It was about the media, the legal battles, and the toxic environment that had plagued Britney's life for years. A system that had repeatedly failed her and, in Sam's eyes, made a mockery of her struggles. He started by addressing Kevin's comments, which many saw as an attempt to stir the pot and reignite old tensions. Kevin, in his interview, had expressed frustration about Britney's relationship with her sons and hinted at Sam's role in their life. Sam, however, wasn't about to let Kevin use his platform to further tarnish Britney's image. "Kevin can say whatever he wants," Sam retorted. "But it's clear that Britney is stronger than ever. And she doesn't need to defend herself anymore. I'll defend her. She doesn't need to justify anything to anyone." The message was clear. Sam was not only standing up for his wife, but he was also taking a stand for the countless women who had been silenced, judged, and exploited by the public eye. Britney's battle for freedom was no longer just about her. It was about reclaiming her dignity and ensuring that her legacy would no longer be overshadowed by the manipulative forces that sought to control her. Sam's words were a reminder of just how far Britney had come, and how much further she still had to go. His defense of her legacy wasn't just a moment of personal pride. It was a statement to the world that Britney Spears had been through enough, and it was time for the world to recognize her strength, her resilience, and her right to be remembered on her own terms. But the story didn't end there. What would happen next? How would Kevin Federline respond, and how would the public continue to view Britney's legacy? As the drama unfolded, one thing became crystal clear. Sam Asghari was not going to let anyone get in the way of his wife's fight for freedom and respect. As Sam Asghari's fiery response to Kevin Federline went viral, the media buzzed with questions about Britney's past, her present, and her future. The world had been watching Britney Spears for decades, but now, in the wake of Sam's powerful words, it seemed like the public was being asked to reconsider the narrative they'd been fed for so long. Was this the redemption story Britney had been waiting for? Could Sam's unwavering support finally help the world see her as more than just a tabloid headline? Sam didn't just stop at calling out Kevin. His comments were a direct challenge to the culture that had both glorified and vilified Britney over the years. He spoke out not just for his wife, but for the countless women who had been judged by the public without understanding the full story. He was giving voice to those who had been silenced, and in doing so, he became an unlikely advocate for change. But it wasn't just about Sam defending Britney. It was about the evolution of her legacy. For years, Britney had been reduced to a punchline, a figure to mock and pity. Her battles with the conservatorship, her public breakdown, and her tumultuous relationships had been fodder for media outlets that fed on her pain. Yet through it all, Britney's strength shone through. She had rebuilt her life from the ashes, and now, with Sam by her side, she was reclaiming her dignity and her future. Sam's words were a wake-up call for many. In one interview, he said, "Britney has been through so much, but she's not the victim anymore. She's a survivor, a fighter, and now she's thriving. The world needs to recognize that, and if I have to remind people of that, I will." As Sam spoke, it was clear that his loyalty to Britney went beyond a personal relationship. He was speaking for a generation of fans who had watched Britney grow up, who had been with her through the highs and lows, and who had longed for the day when Britney would finally be able to live her life on her own terms. Sam's actions also highlighted the way in which public figures are often reduced to their most painful moments. People forget that behind the headlines, behind the rumors and the scandals, there are real people, with real emotions and real struggles. Britney, like many other celebrities, had been dehumanized by the media, but Sam was there to remind the world of the woman behind the icon. While Kevin Federline continued to make waves with his controversial remarks, Sam focused on something far more powerful: love, support, and protection. He refused to let anyone manipulate the narrative any longer. Britney's story was her own, and he was committed to helping her take control of it once again. As the dust settled, it became evident that this was more than just a response to a feud. This was a turning point, a moment when Britney, with Sam by her side, could finally begin to reshape her legacy. The truth that had been hidden for so long was now being brought to light, and Sam's defense of Britney was a powerful reminder that no one could rewrite her story without her permission. In the end, Sam Asghari's slamming of Kevin Federline wasn't just about one man defending another. It was about standing up for what's right, for the power of self-respect, and for the woman who had been misunderstood for far too long. It was about rewriting the narrative of a woman who had been silenced for years, a woman whose voice was now louder than ever. Britney Spears, with Sam's unwavering support, was ready to show the world that her story was far from over. This video is made with AI, pulling info from reliable sources and social media.